Hi guys, I'm on my way to the registration for the conference right now. I came in last night and it's been a good time so far. Okay, so I just got done listening to Scott Kuby's keynote presentation. He's a content strategist and his presentation was all about content strategy. I'm looking at my notes in my phone. He talked a lot about how understanding makes it easier to do your job when you're creating content, and that really kind of resonated with how I work, and I assume probably how most other people work too. One of the quotes he used was, "If you don't know what you believe, everything becomes an argument." And his example was those projects that you kind of rehash the same issues over and over and over again. I think that we've all had projects that we had to keep going to the meetings that talked about the same thing, things that you thought you already had decided on. So making sure that you have a clear vision about that project would help you avoid that. I remember the other point that I want to talk about from the keynote was that designers make it easy to make it look like a lot of thinking has happened when nothing has actually happened. So it's easy to use a content management system to make the content look pretty or look like somebody has actually paid attention to their dance, but they really haven't. And I think that Western is working really hard to make that not the case, but I just thought it was a good way of putting it.
The first thing I'm going to do is take a picture of you. I'm posting on Twitter, but not right now. So smile and wave. One thing you should know before I start talking about the things that I do at Colgate is that we really, really like the number 13 at Colgate. Lore says that Colgate was founded by 13 men with 13 prayers, $13 and 13 notes. And there's some dispute about the notes, but no dispute about the men and the dollars. So our alums, once they graduate, miss the number 13, take pictures and send them to us. These are a collection of alumni-generated content around the number 13.
So the second session I attended was about forms, and what I learned about forms is that I don't know anything about making forms, and basically I have a lot of forms to update. The actual session was kind of short and light on content. It was like if I would have just went into a website and looked up how to make forms in HTML5, which apparently I have not done, then I would have learned the exact same thing. But like I said, it was kind of like a disappointing session, but still revolutionary in that I'm doing everything wrong. I'm at Ben & Jerry's because why not? And somebody saw that on my name tag here, it says that I'm from Western Michigan University, and he was an alumni. And so the thing he immediately said was the campus is that he went to school in the 70s, and the campus is completely different. It looks beautiful, and I thought that was really cool, especially after doing branding training and everything, and how what we want the university story to be, and that was a good interaction. So I thought that was cool.
Actually, the best thing I got from that.
So, I work at the University of Notre Dame, where in my opinion it's the best web development team in higher ed. 3 of them are right there. Stand up, Notre Dame team. I told you if you come, I'm singling you out. There we go. There's a lot of decisions that can be made about how a website is going to function or be performance before you even get to the design process. Before you start talking about what are our breakpoints going to be. So that's what we're going to be getting into. So at MQ, that's media queries. I'm just shortening it up a little bit. So we're going to be talking about why we optimize. I'll be getting into a little bit of analytics. I like stats. I'm kind of a stats geek. We're going to be looking at how the BBC News mobile site is using images. We're going to talk about carousels, with West Virginia being one example. And then we're going to go into some weird in-depth stuff that we're doing at Notre Dame.
Design, marketing, as well as technology, all housed within the college, as opposed to going to the outside as far as university. And we're being looked at as kind of a test model within the university. If this is something that's going to be working to utilize something like this model into other colleges on campus. The great thing is Scott and I, we're at each other's doors probably about 20 times a day, focusing on the what ifs, we always say. So if we're focusing on a marketing campaign, if we're trying to launch possibly an annual report online as well as print, if we're trying to do some sort of email marketing campaign, the conversation always starts with Scott as well as myself in the room to ask really, what if we did this? Is there any kind of innovative technology that you've seen in the market? What kind of message do we need, branding, and so forth?
So it's day 2 of the HighEdWeb Michigan Conference.
So today we're going to talk a little bit about digital leadership. And I'm speaking very broadly about this topic. This topic's going to we're going to weave in and out of different things today. We'll talk a little bit about the way websites are structured. We'll talk a little bit about, about a little bit about web governance. And the web governance conversation has been one that frankly I think needs to be reframed, because I think it's really boring. It's a really boring topic that no one wants to talk about, so we ignore it. As a result, we suffer.
In the Who Owns the Website talk, the speaker talked about one thing that I think my department has been working with lately, is like that realization that you're not using the right language when you talk about what you're doing and what your job is. I think it's really easy to be usurped by people who are using the right language. So unless you use the language that people understand, they're not going to realize that those are the services you can provide them. It might seem weird to talk in that sense, or to talk yourself up, or to try to make yourself look more important, but it's really important to your job to make sure that you seem like an authority, that you're going to do the work that people want you to do, but that you have these skills and that they are skills that you're using. You're not just magically making a website for them. There were a few main takeaways I got from the conference that seemed like were main threads of everyone's conversation. The first big one was that everybody is not an audience. Like, if somebody comes up with a project that is for everybody, then you're not targeting well enough. Who owns the website? Everyone agreed that nobody owns the website. There should be one website for the entire university. One Facebook, one Twitter. It's confusing to your audience if they have to find you in multiple places or multiple domains. This does not mean, for everyone's purposes, does not mean just one, content creator for the whole university, but just one unique look and feel and purpose. People talked a lot about the silos, having specific departments that take care of specific things, and how that doesn't always make sense on the website. As we always talk about mobile first is still a thing. Not just making a site mobile usable, but customized and put together for a mobile audience and mobile uses. And the other thing was, measurement is not just analytics. So, don't rely on Google Analytics to tell you whether or not your project was successful. To use other ways of gathering data and user studies, and I'll link some services that people talked about below. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was kind of fun making it. It was interesting because while everyone was on the Twitter, I was the only one vlogging, so I would have to kind of go like off in a corner and then have people walk in on me and act all goofy. And I was making them feel uncomfortable, but it kind of made me feel uncomfortable, so I'm sorry if the quality of the video isn't great. I had a really good time. It was kind of energizing. I wouldn't say that it was any super new information. I think that Western already university implements a lot of things that they were talking about. Maybe not perfectly in all instances, but I think that as a university we're heading that way. And there wasn't anything like groundbreaking, but it was kind of nice to hear from other people who have the same sorts of frustrations and concerns, and it was a good experience.